Hello everybody, back here another episode of Farming Blind with Duck when we're actually on some brand new territory, and you've been seeing a lot of videos on me putting up my hay and a variety of other things. Well, this project here is actually going to be a fencing project. If you look down through here, you can see where my fence line is here. It was always grown up and the limbs are sticking way out, and it's where I couldn't do much repair to it or keep my fence row all cleaned up. My neighbor across the way here, awesome neighbor he is, Kurt Boker. He's actually got a mini excavator with a bush hog attachment arm on it. He came back here about 2 weeks ago and trimmed all my trees back and all my bushes, where now the only bad part about it is now you can see every hole that's in the fence, which I've got a few, and if I can see it, being visually impaired, haha, I know my livestock can see it as well. So I wanted to do a quick repair to kind of get us by. And what my intentions is I'm going to roll out some new fence down through here, going to temporary it up, tie it all together. And this fall, when it's a lot cooler and the ground's a little moister, we're going to come back here and put some new posts in, stretch the fence, and do a big repair. But right now, our primary concentration is to get where I can turn my livestock back here and not have any worries about them going through the fence. With this new fence repair, or should I say just a complete repair using new fence, I've got a roll of wire here. Typically the old fence wires was 330 foot roll, but nowadays they make them quite a bit bigger, which this one here is a 500 foot, which it will not get me all the way down the fence line. So I've got another 330 foot roll on down the line. When I get to that point, I'll tie into it. The way we used to always do this, we'd have to physically unwrap the wire and then roll that roll of wire all the way out, which is not too bad when it's big like that, but as it gets smaller, you have to lean over. So they make a variety of attachments and things that you can put on a tractor or skid loader to unroll the wire. But for me, being cheap and a tightwad and try to do a way my grandfather used to do, is just try to make something work that's inexpensive as possible. So this is where I took some old scrap steel, and this is an old hay spear that was broken. As you can see here, I've got it mounted, welded into a piece of channel going right on to my pallet forks. And then where the wire will roll and not catch, I've got it set. This is just an old steel bucket lid, or a 55-gallon drum lid. Got a hole in it. I'll set the roll right on that. Then as it goes along, it'll spin and won't have to catch on anything, or we hope anyway. That's a perfect scenario. What I'll do is I'll tilt the spear over. I'll just go right into the roll of hay, or roll of wire, and then I'll flip it up. I'll unravel it. I will tie it off to one of these trees here as a temporary, like I said, until fall. And then I'll just back the tractor up slowly. As we go down so far, I'll get off. I'll tie it up to a tree to temporary it, and then just keep rolling till we get to the next roll of wire. So stay tuned. As you see here, I've got my loader pretty much lined up. I'll go into the roll, and once I get it in position, I need it, then I'll just take the loader and just flip it right up, and hopefully the wire will be in position to what I need. Okay, hopefully I've got my loader and everything right in position that I can roll the wire up. I have to do some adjustments. So now that I've finally got the roll of wire stood up, which sometimes takes a little ingenuity in getting things straightened out, I'm going to anchor off to this tree to where it holds the wire long enough for me to pull. Of course, some people ask me, say, well, how can you steeple when you can't see? And it's really hard to explain, but right now I literally cannot see that steeple. But when I'm driving in with my hammer, a lot of times I can hear the sound of the steeple to know. Of course, obviously I'm not there, but now, right there. There, that's one. And I'll put 2 or 3 down through here to hold it. Every other one, just to kind of anchor it. Trust me, it's not always that simple, and a lot of times I'll hit my thumb. Where some people might think, well, he's just faking it. He's just faking it. He can't do that and not be able to see. Well, as you can tell, I'm not even looking at the steeple. I get it started. I go by feel. I'm looking at the camera. I'm not looking at the steeple. So there you see. I was able to get the steeple in and just go by sound. So don't ask me to explain how I can do it. I guess it's just one of God's gifts that gives me the gift to be able to see what I can, but yet hear and feel a lot more. So stand by and we'll fix and roll some of this out. As you see here, after we get rolled out quite a bit, this is when I'll get off and go back up along the fence and tie it off, steeple it to some trees. As I said, I'm going to go along here every so often and lightly steeple to the tree, just to kind of hold everything in place. I'll get it spit out here in a second. That way, I'm not driving the steeples all the way up. That way, this fall, when I come back, I can simply bring the tool and pull them right out and then stretch them like I want to. And I'll continue this every so often all the way down through here. Go. Okay, now after we got our first 500 feet of fence stretched and stood up, which we got to go back down through here and tie it up a little bit more, my neighbor Kurt, he's going down with a chainsaw and cutting out some of the final small limbs out of our way so we have a good clear path. But right now, what my job is now is to splice the 2 wires together, 2 rolls. This is my old roll at the end of it. Of course, here's the new roll. Now, there's a variety of different ways that people choose to do this. They have clamps where they have to crimp on wires and tie them together. Some people tie loops and run wires into each other. The way I do it is kind of the way my grandfather did it for many years. Is you take a loop and wire at each end and you coil it over to where they have to pull against each other. That will hold them. Just like right here, I've got the wires tied together. I've got them started. I take this little tool here, which is nothing more than a piece of pipe with some holes in it. I can take it, put it around there. Then I just simply pull it around. You'll go around a few different times. I'll switch to a different hole to make it a little bit easier. Of course, obviously I can't see them, so I have to feel it. There, went. Wrap around. I got one side, and I'll switch over to the other side. Find the hole for it to go in. That. And I'm going to do it just like I did on the other side. I'll roll it. Tie it again. Keep going around till you get to the end. So as you can see, you see the coil here and the coil here. They literally cannot pull through each other. You'll continue that motion all the way down till you get to the very end of each wire. This is what takes so much time, but once you're done, you're done. Hopefully we'll stretch out a few more, another 330 foot, and we'll get this knocked out. I'm going to finish tying this up, get back with you soon. All right, Mike. All right, everybody, as you can see, we have now come to the end of the line. This is roughly 830 feet of wire that we have rolled out now to patch this fence up. Got a few spots. This old fence has probably been built since, I'd say, the mid-70s. My grandfather actually built this fence, the best of my recollection, and of course, he's been dead since 1997, but when this fence put up, it was brand new. There was no trees or no nothing, and people wonder, well, how can trees grow in a fence row like that? Well, if you think about it, birds land on it, and you take over 40 plus years of birds landing on it and messing on it. Of course, what they do is drop a seed, and there you go, it's planted. So that's how your trees will typically go on your fence row. So we're going to get things wrapped up here. So this is how we've patched up our fence for this go around. Hopefully this fall we'll come in here and redo it and try to spruce it up a little bit more. But for this part, this job is done. And hopefully we'll give the fall final report whenever we do this. So there you are from Farming Blind with Duck. Last episode for today, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.